What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today on King Fab and Off-Road, Goldy is really showing its wheeling age lately, and we are going to be tending to some other issues that have arose over the last few weeks of wheeling. Our main focus today is going to be on the rear springs. Hopefully you guys can see here pretty nicely, but that is my shackle angle with next to nothing in the bed. After I built this thing, it actually settled. This has trail gear 4-inch springs on it, meant for a mini truck, and this is obviously a little bit heavier setup than what the springs are rated for. And I set everything up to where I liked it, but things have settled, and you put a spare tire and a cooler in the back, and this thing definitely squats down, and they're collapsing into the frame, so it turns into a clunkety mess, and I'm ready to fix that. I'm sick of it doing that every time I put anything in the bed of it. Also, last weekend we had a little bit of carnage in the front end of this thing. We lost some motor mounts, so I made some. I know you guys are probably wondering where I got these bad mamma jammas from, and you can get them all day long at Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight carries the best motor mount tie downs I've ever seen, and they're cheap. Just kidding, kind of. So with that being said, I've got these bomb-proof mounts. I had these actually on my diesel swapped 90s pickup that you guys may have seen on the channel, and once I reacquired it and the truck's been taken apart again, I now have the old mounts off of it. This 3.4 is pretty torquey with a 538 and everything going on in the 40s and everything. It just keeps ripping the stock style mounts out. As I said in my last video also, you may remember me talking about how I enjoy keeping the stock mounts, tranny mounts, motor mounts, etc. in my truck because it keeps the vibrations down. In my opinion, there's nothing better than a nice rubber mount. The only thing is they will rip and tear. Now everyone's going to comment and say, well, why don't you just keep those mounts in it and chain them or put ties on them, you know? You can do that, but obviously this is going to be a much more efficient way to get it strapped down solid. That's just a through bolt with polys in the middle. It's not going to go nowhere, and that's what she needs. So we've got that on the list. So we got the rear springs we're going to tend to, the motor mounts need put in, and then I've got 2 tie rods that are about to just plumb fall out of this thing. They're just stock tie rods. There's a circled in on one and a regular on the other on these Super Duties. So I'll be replacing this guy's wore out here and on that end. Alright guys, enough of me talking. I hope that you guys are enjoying my videos lately, and if there's any insight as to things I should change or things you'd like to see me do, just let me know. Constructive criticism always goes a long way, and I want to make this a little bit better for my viewers. I feel like I'm lacking in describing what I'm doing and maybe following through with showing you what it is I'm doing, mechanically of course, and some people like to see that, so just let me know. And of course, if you haven't liked and subscribed my channel, please get subscribed. Always hit the like button. It sure helps me out, as you guys know how YouTube goes. I appreciate you guys, so let's get right into it. Alright guys, this is the shackle angle with the weight of the truck almost taken off the rear tires here. I did that just so I can get everything unbolted. I'm going to loosen everything up, get the shackles off. I have new bushings for my springs, but I have not gotten the ones that go in my frame tubes here or shackle hangers. They will be in the mail for me, so I'll probably put those in later, just not put it on video. But I am going to essentially just be moving this back about 1.5 inches or so, just so that way when every ounce of weight is on this thing and it's sitting down, I have more of a straight up and down angle, and then I can afford to put some weight in the bed of this truck, and it'll help it out a lot as far as ride quality, so it's not hitting there. You might be able to see where that spot is. That's where these are coming up and hitting, and get it all straightened back out. So I'll put you guys on a little video here so you can watch me taking things apart, and I'll explain as I get them cut off and scooting them back. I got all the shackles removed. They all came out pretty nicely. As you can tell, I've got some pretty junky bushings. These are actually bushings I put in about a year ago. On one side we are in good shape and one side we are not. And what I actually used are these Noathane. This is the part number. You can get those at your local AutoZone, Napa, something like that. But they come in a pack and they have sleeves in them, which are really nice. And they're the same diameter, of course, as the Toyota Spring Eye, and uses big 18mm bolts. So that's nice. If anyone ever looks this video up and you happen to need these bushings, they're kind of expensive, but you can get them at a moment's notice, day or two, from the parts store. So little knowledge for you there. I'm gonna get these things, I'm gonna lift the truck up a little bit, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna get these cut off and just gonna be relocating them. I'm gonna mark where they were and then scoot them back. You guys might be able to see that my old mounting location has these are actually the bolts for the old bumper, and they are lined up pretty square. So I'm gonna just decide on a measurement back from those when I'm done, so I don't have to mark anything really. I'll square them up and I will scoot them back as I please, so we can get a little bit better angle when we're all done with some weight. So I'm gonna get to cutting. Jenga. Alright, that's one off. About 10 minutes worth of cutting. That kind of sucks, but we'll get to the other side here, get it off, clean everything up. Didn't cut into the frame actually hardly at all, so I'm proud about that. Part of fabrication if you're cutting off old brackets, though, you got to be very careful not to cut into your frame, weaken anything. So we're doing good so far. On to the next side. Alrighty guys, got both of them cut off. That was a pain in the butt, to be honest with you, but that's just part of it. Both of them are off the frame now. I am gonna get the flap wheel, clean all these up, and then clean up the mounts, and I'll realign them, and I'll kind of show you what I do when I move them back and stuff here in just 1 second. Stay with me. Alright guys, this is what I got. I can put these guys up like so. I'm gonna move them roughly 1.5 inches back, stabilize, and tack weld. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because, well, quite honestly, I've done this a lot on other trucks. I've just normally worked on mini trucks back in the day. So on this heavier truck, we'll say, my calculations, I normally do a little under a 45, and then when you put the weight down, it works really well. But on this one, I'm almost needing to go inverted. That way, when the weight sets down, it's where you need it. So it's kind of a trial and error deal. So like I said, I'll tack them in here and see how it sets down. This is my angle with little to no weight on it now. So being kicked back, we gained about 1.5 inches. This was center of that bolt before, if you can see there. Center of this was the center of that. So scoot this back, I'm gonna tack these in place, put the weight down on it, and see how we like it. What do you think, guys? That's with the weight of the truck back on it. That's the angle we're all looking for. Don't get me wrong, I don't mean to toot my own horn. Being the first time I tried this, I'm pretty happy with it. Once I get some weight in it, We will see. I'm going to put a couple more tacks on it and literally load this thing up with about 500 pounds of stuff. That way it'll mimic how I want this truck to be used on an average wheeling weekend. So yeah, bear with me for one more second. I'm going to do that and we'll see where it sits. Hopefully we can finish welding these boogers in and have these mounts done. That ended up being perfect angle for me. I put some weight in the bed. All turned out pretty good. I will give you a friendly tip of the day. Do not fool yourself into thinking that when you start welding your mounts on, that the rubber bushings in there aren't going to melt, because they will. Go ahead and knock them out, guys, because I'm going to save you guys at least, what are these things, $10 a piece now? Just so you know, it didn't happen to me this time, but it has in the past. So get those bushings knocked out, weld it in, let it sit, or you'll be sorry. I'm gonna get these welded in, guys, get some weight back on the truck. We are gonna swap sides of the truck. We're gonna get to the front end of the truck, do some motor mounts hopefully, and some steering components. That's next. Alright guys, next thing on the list is getting these bomb-proof mounts in there. I have somewhat sandwiched them back in there by themselves. I'm gonna get this bump stop out of the way, and then I will get that taken out and I'll show you getting this one back in. These typically don't line up very nice, so we'll see how these do on the 3-4. Since they're supposed to be interchangeable, we will see. And yeah, so let's see how it goes. Well guys, you might be able to see, might not, yeah, it's not bad. I got the motor mounts in. They in fact went in pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie, I may have almost lost my cool putting those in. It's really hard to put those in and brace it up without a engine fixture, of course. Mechanic every day here, and I was by myself, so I had to get some pry bar action and get those in there, but they went in after a little bit of tussling with them. So on to the next thing. I got the wheel off here. I am replacing this hub bearing, which is very growly. You might be able to hear that as well. And then we are going to be getting those 2 tie rods taken care of. So I'll put you on a time lapse here, get this stuff taken apart. Hopefully you can see what I got going on, and get her fixed up. For anyone wondering, this is about a 10-minute job. You got to have some snap ring pliers to get the bearing off, but it's just 4 bolts on the back. Take your brakes off and it's done. I got it off. I actually replaced this about a 1.5 years ago when I went on my Moab trip with a Napa Fleet. It's only got about 10,000 miles on it, so I'm a little leery of how these are going to last, but it's lifetime warranty. So going with another one, we're going to get that in there. And then we got stiffed on our front end parts. I should have checked them before I left, but my 2 tie rods, they gave me 2 of the same thing. They're different part numbers, but anyways, we'll just have to figure that out. So we'll be doing the tie rods later. But I will get this put in there and wrap up this video. Well, there it is, guys. That's one whole long mechanicking video for you. We got Goldy all wrapped up for now. Gonna need to finish those tie rods at another date, but she is back to rolling. We got a good wheel bearing back in there. We got some solid motor mounts so we don't put any more dents in the hood and lose the motor on the trail. And then we got our shackle hangers back here all lined back up. I know that looks horrible from here, but it's up in there. So I'm all happy with it. I hope you guys enjoy this video. A lot of wrenching on this one and just doing everyday maintenance stuff that you guys are going to run into. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.